Hello, and today I've got with me a fascinating man. His name's Graham Frost. Graham is a professional speaker, trainer, facilitator, and coach, and he talks about heart-shaped decisions. Graham, welcome to the call.
Thank you. It's great to be here. Thank you very much for having me.
I've got a couple of what might seem to be very simple questions, but I think they're always important when anyone's talking about a new way of thinking, and it's how, why, and what. So the first thing, how did you come up with the concept of heart-shaped decisions?
I came up with the concept of heart-shaped decisions last year, 2019, and as recently as that, actually, because I've been talking about my story for quite some time. And I was in a position last September where I had to give a talk to a group I'd already spoken to before, and I thought, how can I give them something fresh? How can I give them something new? And I woke up one Sunday morning, and I was lying in bed, and this was going through my mind, and I thought, what is all the big decisions I've made in my life? What have they had in common? And I thought, well, after a few minutes of thinking, I thought, I've actually made all the big decisions I've ever made in my life have always been heart-based or heart-shaped. They've come from the heart more than from the head.
Yeah.
And so I thought, and then I just thought, well, heart-shaped decisions. I thought that's got a bit of a ring to it. That might interest people. And so I grabbed my phone and went on to Google and typed in heart-shaped decisions, and there was nothing there. And I thought, perhaps I've come up with something a bit unusual and a bit original here. And so I developed my talk over the next few days. And when I went down to London and delivered it to an audience of fellow professional speakers on the Saturday.
Blimey, that was good.
It was, well, yes, it was kind of jumping in with both feet, as it were.
Yeah.
And some people that I had a great deal of respect for within that audience came up to me afterwards and said, we really like the heart-shaped decisions, and you've got to do something with that. So then I had a bit of self-doubt crept in, because I'm one of these people that sometimes suffers from a bit of self-doubt. But then gradually I thought, I'm going to go with this. So over the last few months, and I think this sort of whole lockdown situation we find ourselves in at the minute has actually made me think, what, I've got to go with this. It's come into my head from somewhere, we know not where, and I've got to spend the rest of my working life encouraging people to make heart-shaped decisions in all areas of their life, really.
So that's how you came up with it. You kind of alluded to the why you've come up with it, which is to help other people make better decisions. Is there anything else to that, or is that the core reason why?
No, I think the world would be a better place if we put more heart into our decisions. If you make all your decisions with your head, they tend to be kind of logical and analytical, and maybe based on financial goals and all that kind of thing. And I think perhaps we need to come out of the situation we find ourselves in with a bit more love and a bit more use of the heart in our decisions, not only in our personal lives, but even maybe in our business lives. It's about what can we actually do to make the world a better place. And somebody said to me, when I recently left Peterborough to move to Birmingham a few months ago, and some of my friends in Peterborough had a little farewell party for me, and I had to do a little talk, and they said, I said, I would like to leave the world a better place than I found it, and I don't feel that I'm doing that at the moment. So perhaps heart-shaped decisions is my little contribution to that.
Wonderful. So, and are you an advocate of only heart-shaped, or do you think there's a place in decision-making depending upon the decision for both logical and heart-shaped decisions?
I think you have to put some head into it as well. You have to put some thought, some brain, you have to have some logic in there as well. Obviously, you can't do everything with your heart, because I don't know, it would probably, but I think the heart is not used enough in decision making.
Mm.
Feelings, feelings and emotions need to come into it as much as, calculating things on spreadsheets and all that kind of thing. For me, even in the world of work, for example, I know that the best work I ever did in my employed life was because my heart was engaged in what I was doing.
Well, if you're not including the heart, I suppose you're essentially denying a part of what's true in a situation. But if you're only working with logic or only the heart, I think you're quite right. I think it needs to be a combination of both. So we've looked at how and why. So what is a heart-shaped decision?
Well, I think for me, it's not necessarily something that is done quickly. It's I find myself, for example, probably the most recent heart-shaped decision I made was to move from Peterborough to Birmingham in my early 60s. And the reason I did that was because my partner lives in Birmingham and we've been seeing each other for 3 years. And I knew pretty much within a few weeks of meeting her that I wanted to be with her. But I just thought, hang on, there's no point in jumping straight into. I could have just used my heart and said, well, I'm going to put my house on the market. After 3 weeks, I'm going to move to Birmingham. No, that's probably not a very sensible thing to do. Okay, if I just used my heart, that would have been. But so I took my time, and I realised that that she actually thinks much more with her head probably than I do. So we're a good balance. She's very analytical and logical, and if I'd said to her 3 weeks into the relationship, right, I'm moving to Birmingham, she probably would have run a mile. So that's my. So I took my time, and I thought, yes, this is something I want to do, but I'm not going to rush into it. And then in 2019, last year, I actually said to her, what, I think it's time I put my house on the market and look to move over there. And she said, yes, I think I would like you to do that. So it took. There was a lot of conversations went on, and we came to an agreement that's what was going to happen. But the heart was the original motivator of that decision.
Well, let me push you a little bit, and forgive me if this puts you on the spot, but
no, not at all.
If I was to open the dictionary and find heart-shaped decision, what would its definition be?
The definition of a heart-shaped decision is a decision which is based on feelings and emotions, and
right. I like
so it's about how I feel, how a change of situation or change of plan would make me feel in my heart.
Okay, thank you.
I don't think there is a definition in the dictionary for it, though.
No, there is in yours, Brian. There is in yours. That's all that matters. So yes. I've got 2 other questions before I ask you to tell people how they can get in touch with you. And the first one is, I'm always interested to find the defining moment. So can you recall, and again, forgive me if this puts you on the spot, mate, but can you recall the first time you made a heart-shaped decision?
Yes, I can. I can recall it very well. And it was a decision I made when I was 17 years of age to leave my family's home and go off into the world on my own. And but that decision probably started when I was 12. It took me 5 years to make that decision from the age of 12 to 17, because things happened. I was arrested for shoplifting when I was 12 years old, and because I was part of a very strict church, the people in the church, including members of my own family, stopped talking to me because they said, like, my cousins, who I was very close to, who used to live near each other, they were almost like brothers to me. They were told by their parents that they shouldn't have so much to do with me because I was a bad influence.
Wow.
And so I kind of thought, I kind of started to feel a bit unloved at that point, and thought to myself, this is supposed to be, a church is supposed to be an environment where you find love and support. And there wasn't a whole lot of that going on when I was 12 years old. So I decided that perhaps I was gonna look elsewhere, and I just couldn't look out. You can't leave home when you're 12 years old. So, but as soon as it was practical for me to leave home, I did. But that decision started taking place when I was 12, and it took a long time to sort of percolate through. And in the end, I thought, what, I have got no option but to go, because I cannot live the life that somebody else wants me to live. I didn't know what I wanted, but I knew what I didn't want.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, and I think for many people, sadly, they leave making a decision so long because of logic that actually it has to reach a point where there is such emotional friction, turmoil, or there's a lack of congruence between what you're doing and who you really are, that it does compromise how you feel, and eventually pushes people to jump as a last resort rather than a first resort. I like your thinking. So, and again, a bit of a challenging question, because I know this is all fairly new stuff you're developing and creating here, but if you were going to coach me on how to go about, right? So we've done how it came about, we've done the why, the what, your first example. But if you were coaching me, how would you describe to me or coach me to make a heart-shaped decision? So for the people who are going to watch this video, what can they take away so that they understand how to?
Okay, I think you have to think. You have to sit. I'm very good at sitting down and thinking about things over a long period of time, and I'll weigh up the pros and cons, and sometimes I'll even make a list. And this is quite a common decision making process, but a lot of people don't do it. I'll actually get a piece of paper and I'll put a line down the middle, and I'll write down the pros and cons of making the decision. And I actually did that when it came to moving to Birmingham, and I had far more reasons to move to Birmingham than I had reasons to stay in Peterborough. And that's nothing against Peterborough or my friends there. It was just, there were so many more reasons why I should move to Birmingham, and most of them were heart-shaped reasons.
Well, being a boy myself, it was a no-brainer anyway. I mean.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly. So, but I think it's over a period of time. I mean, I can remember being in a job, for example, where I was fairly happy with the work I was doing. The last proper job that I had, I was fairly happy with the work I was doing, but I was very unhappy with the way I was managed. And over a period of time, over probably a year to 18 months, I got more and more unhappy. It's almost like, when you put your foot on the accelerator of your car and the rev counter goes into the red. Well, my rev counter was going into the red far too often, so it was damaging the engine. So then I felt that I had to actually take my foot off that particular accelerator and find a new accelerator.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay, so if people want to understand a little bit more from you, or maybe consider coaching, training, facilitation, or even get you along as a speaker on the subject of heart-shaped decisions, how can they get in touch with you, Graham?
They can get in touch with me, graham@grahamfrost.com is the email address. You can pick up the phone and ring me on 07766 916 317, or I can be found on LinkedIn. There are 14 Graham Frost on LinkedIn at the last count. But I'd usually come up top if you put me into LinkedIn, because I'm very active on there.
You're the good-looking one.
Well, I wouldn't go so far as to say that, but I'm probably not the worst-looking one.
Well, there we go, guys. Graham, thank you very, very much indeed for your time this afternoon. Really valuable insights into how we can all make better decisions by not just following logic, but including some more of this is how we feel, a few heart-shaped decisions, weigh up the pros and cons, and then follow your heart on the final decision. Graham, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much. Bless you. Cheers. Thank you.
And we'll see you all soon on another Dave's Desk. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and hit the notification bell for more videos. Then click the TV to watch the next video. Oh, and don't forget to visit our website at davidhyner.com to claim your free audiobook. Until the next time, go Rhino. Have in it.